during the hot months. The stories and more coming up, but first, your money and surviving the crisis. Summertime just doesn't mean camp and flowers. There's also a demand for home buying, and it's greatest at this time of year. I just found that out from one expert. And for the next few weeks, we're going to be walking you through all aspects of real estate dealings, bringing you tips on everything from buying a home to what to look for in the paperwork. But this week, we're focusing on selling. And joining me now to talk about this, Joseph Rand. He's managing partner from Better Homes and Gardens Realty right here in the Hudson Valley. And I mentioned that I didn't know this was the best time to sell, but you explained it to me and it made sense.
Yeah, summer is the best time. Spring and summer really are the best times to get your home on the market, simply because that's when buyer demand is highest. You know, people in this kind of market, you not only have seasonality where people don't necessarily like to look at homes in the winter, the snow is covering the ground, you can't really see, you can't see if there's a pool, what the pool looks like. And also, we're in a very school-intensive, suburb.
Yeah,
people want to be in for the school year, so they want to get moving and get in by August, so their kids can start the school year without having to have any interruption in their schooling.
No, I mean, that's one of the big selling points of a home in Westchester is the school system, so you want to get in there before it starts. That's a good point. Now, another point you were talking about is a lot of people, they're thinking about sellers now. We're talking about that mistakes when they try to present their home.
Yeah, some of the biggest mistakes that sellers make when they sell their home, and I think probably the biggest fundamental mistake they make, is that they don't take the time to actually prepare the home for sale. That they put it on the market, but they don't make the changes in the home to improve the curb appeal or the inside appeal. You know, when you're selling your car, what do? You don't, drive it in and the way it looks when you drive around with the coffee cups on the floor and the newspapers and
you try to make it spick and span inside and out.
Yeah, you get it cleaned, you get it detailed, you do some of the dings, you touch up the paint, you wipe down all the surfaces. You need to do the same thing when you're selling a home. You need to make it look like a model home, and people, they don't do those things. You'd be amazed at how many homes are for sale right now in Westchester and the Hudson Valley that aren't even really clean. They're cluttered up, they have tons of furniture in them, every closet is stuffed with things, and it's not really prepared in a way that a buyer can walk in and say, this is the house I want to buy. And that's what the kind of experience that you want to create for a buyer walking into the house.
Now, a lot of times in say, better markets or at certain times, I see flags for sale by owner.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing that this would not be one of the times to, well, maybe you could go that route, but what do you tell people?
Well, I think, listen, I have total respect for people that try to sell their house on their own, and I know why they're doing it. They're doing it because they think that they can save money selling the home without having to pay a broker for the commission. I just think it's a fundamental mistake, simply because you're not taking advantage of the market that's out there. It's like, are you going to get a better price for a piano if you put a sign in your window that you're selling a piano, or are you going to get a better price if you put it on eBay? You know, the real estate brokerage market creates this great environment where, every buyer who's out there is looking with an agent. And if you sell your home on your own, you might be trying to save money, but you're not exposing it to the largest possible audience. And really, whenever you're trying to sell something, what you're trying to do is maximize buyer demand. And the best way to maximize buyer demand is to make sure it's available to the largest supply of buyers possible.
Okay, I just wanted to check this last one. It's talking about the offer. Do you know the person you're dealing with? Do you want to get a feel for that buyer and what kind of offer they're making? Are there things to watch out for?
If you're getting an offer from a buyer, the most important thing you want to check on from a qualifications perspective is to make sure that buyer presents you with some pre-qualification from a reputable lender that shows that this buyer is qualified to be able to purchase this home. Because what can happen is you get an offer and then you go ahead with the inspection, you get contracts prepared, and then all of a sudden you find out 6 weeks later or 2 months later that the person can't qualify for a mortgage, that they bid off more than they can chew, and you've lost all that market time. You've been off the market during that period because no one wants to look at a house when there's already an accepted offer in contract. So that's important. And I think, when in terms of negotiating an offer, too many people think that negotiating an offer means that there's some tug of war, that there's an adversarial relationship. It's really a cooperative relationship. They want to buy the house, you want to sell it. They want to try to get the price as low as possible. You want to get the price as high as possible as a seller. And the way to do that is you want to be very respectful. Any kind of offer is a good offer. It gives you an opportunity to counter. If you don't want to counter because it's too low, then don't counter. But what you want to do is engage the buyers. You want those offers coming in because the more activity that comes on with the house, the better for you as a seller.
Okay. Joseph Rand, thank you much for coming in.
Thank you.
And next week, we're going to be talking about tips for buyers. We're trying to get the other side of this equation here, but more ahead. This was just first in the series. Joseph, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And folks, stay with us. We have a lot more coming up, including how to water or hydrate your landscapes properly. Stay with us.